Hi guys, and welcome back to another brand new video here on Conan Exiles in the Age of War. Now yes, surprisingly I've got a bit of a different one for you today. We're looking at a little build that I've put together, and believe it or not, this is a solo build and there are no thralls, or followers as we like to call them, so that we're using no authority whatsoever. But we'll jump into the stats, the gear and the buffs I'm using, and why I've kind of gone with this build in this video, so here we go. Okay then, so if we start off here on our character page, you can see what my build is kind of in the centre there, and the health and stamina that we currently have, and then the armour of just over 500. Now that kind of shows as light under the armour, but the actual armour I'm wearing shows as a medium armour. Now I'm not sure if this is a bug or whether it's intentional. We'll have to wait and see in future updates. But the outfit is actually the Zamorian Thief, but I'm not actually wearing Zamorian Thief. The outfit I am actually wearing is this one, the Ranger, which as you can see on the left there is coming up as a medium, but yet it says light above our head under our armour, which is very strange. So yeah, we're wearing the Ranger headpiece, the Ranger chest piece, the hands, the legs and the feet, and as you can see it gave us a plus to our agility on each piece, and it gives us an absolute ton of stamina. This armour set was crafted with a tier 4 shieldwright, so the shieldwright armourer, using the garrison armourer's bench to reduce the cost of producing it, and also the benefit of having the shieldwright on the bench means that we get the highest armour value out of the armour that we could possibly get. And then I've just used the bulk plating on all 5 pieces to give me a bit more armour for this build. And this particular set is kind of a hidden set because it's not actually obvious when you first play the game, and in order to get that particular set you're going to have to go to your journey steps, and you will need to complete this one, Dungeon Delver. So you'll need to do all the different dungeons in order as it says, so find the dregs, explore the dregs. Basically that means when you kill the last boss it will count, and you'll have to do that for all of the dungeons. It tells you which one as you work your way through. You've got to do them in the order, so discover them and then complete them. But in order to unlock Dungeon Delver, this actually doesn't show up straight away as a journey step. So in order to do that, you need to come down here to Noob River, to Skulker's End, and then you discover the dregs, which is right here, right at the very end of the river. And when you discover the dregs, you'll also unlock Dungeon Delver, so then you can highlight that journey step and start making your way through it. This may be better for somebody that's been in the game a little while, or that's certainly at endgame. The dregs isn't too bad, but as you start getting to like the Warmaker's Sanctuary, and then the underwater dungeon, I think it's the Sunken City it's called, which is way over here in the jungle, and certainly the wine cellar, you want to be on a character that's capable of withstanding a lot more damage and in some decent armour. But that is the armour set. Like I say, once you complete that journey you'll unlock the Ranger set, and you can make it in the regular and the epic again. And alongside that, for our buffs, we are to give us the sated buff and also a percentage to our agility weapon damage. We're using the cooked grouper along with an elixir of grace to give us the 2 stacks of agility weapon damage. If I show you that there, as you can see there, got the 2 buffs showing, getting the 15% off the food and the 15% off the potion. So that is the gear and the buffs. And for weapons we are using these daggers that you can see me using in a minute, perfected hardened steel. So we're not even using legendary daggers. If we use legendary daggers they're going to do even more damage, let's be brutally honest, but these do absolutely fine with this build. You'll have no problem whatsoever. And then just for some one shots when we get cheeky one shots, or we need to pull enemies. We're using the Kahari bow, but any other agility bow that you can get hold of will do just as good. That's for those, but then we're using our bread and butter weapon. The main weapon of the whole entire build is this, the Dragon Bone Katana, which, as you can see, is a two-handed weapon, and this was crafted on the improved blacksmith bench with the damaged blacksmith, so the bladesmith I think they're called, just to give us a bit more damage on it. And it also has a master weapon fitting on it, which boosted the damage to 58 and 24. It doesn't really matter too much. If you find that the stamina is still an issue for you, you could use a balanced weapon fitting, which won't boost the damage of the weapon, but it will reduce your stamina cost a heck of a lot. But to be quite honest, with the amount of stamina we have and the way we do our attacks on this build, you're really not going to need to worry too much about stamina regen, so go with the master weapon fitting for that. And we're just carrying the arcane staff, so the sorcerer's staff, not for any particular reason other than to use the imbue wisp, where we can have the wisp that flies around us that we can use to see where we're going if it gets to night time, it gets dark, rather than trying to carry a torch, because we can't use the katana or the bow if we have a torch in our hand. So that's just easier for that. And in order to get that and the arcane staff, you just need to learn sorcery to unlock the bench, and then get yourself down here to this cave, work your way through into the back, and it will take you into Cave of Kurak, where you learn your sorcery, and then learn the first few spells, which will teach you Imbue Wisp and Embed Wisp. And it's the Imbue Wisp that you want, so when you cast it, it causes a wisp to appear and fly around you and sort of circle around you the whole time, and makes things a heck of a lot easier to see where you're going. So, as I say, nice and simple. We've looked at the weapons, I've been through the gear. Just to recap once again, it's the Ranger set, which you get from unlocking the Dungeon Delver journey step and completing that. And just for my appearance, I'm using the full Zamorian Thief, so it's the head, the chest, the hands, the legs and the feet, because it kind of represents a little bit of an assassin type build for me. And at the end of this video, I'll include a little clip of me taking on some different enemies in some different areas, like New Azagoth for example, and maybe even a couple here in Sephiroth, just so you can see just how easily this build copes. Do bear in mind, you are in medium armour, so you will take a little damage, but you won't take a huge amount because of our attributes. That was the wrong button. So if we go across to our attributes, as you can see, we're using 0 authority, but we have agility maxed out because we're using precise strikes, 10% additional armor penetration when carrying a medium or light load, and pretty much, as you've seen in my inventory and what I'm carrying, we are pretty much under a medium load all the time, so that's pretty handy for us. We've got the quick footed, which makes running, jogging, climbing, swimming, everything all cost less. And our first perk there, the backstab, which is another bonus when attacking enemies from behind. That can happen at times, so that's absolutely brilliant for us. And then for the second perk in this, I went with extended leap, which gives us a second jump. So when you go to jump, let me just pop these away. If I jump, which you normally would do, you would just jump, but if I jump and then hit jump again, as you see, I can jump when in midair. And sometimes when you're using this weapon, you can get backed into a corner a little bit, so it's kind of helpful to get yourself out from behind the enemy, get behind them and hit them from behind. So it's pretty good for that. And then if we go back to our attributes again, vitality. So for the first one, we went with fast healer, just as we would with any build, because to be quite honest, why wouldn't you? And then the final perk, the glutton for punishment, which means we get quicker health regeneration over time. And that, to be honest, between that one and the other healing option, the one-time heal, everybody should be going with Glutton with Punishment. Sorry, Glutton for Punishment if you're doing a build, especially a build where you don't have any follows with you. Glutton for Punishment is absolutely amazing. And then for our final section, we have maxed out Grit once again, because as you can see there, our Tenacity increases our armour. Using Endurance, so our stamina regens even faster, that's with the first perk. Then we get Defensive Posture, incoming damage is reduced by 15% while you are attacking or blocking. So if we're getting hit by somebody, we're not really blocking with a sword or a bow, but the more hitting we're doing, so if we keep hitting somebody, if they're hitting us or we're getting hit by an arrow from somebody else, we're going to take less damage. And then the other key perk in the build, which kind of ties with Glutton for Punishment, is Steel Thewed or Steel Thwed, however you pronounce it, which literally means you cannot take more than 25% of your maximum health in damage per hit. So basically, in a nutshell, we're going to take very, very minimal damage, if any, while we're in combat. Yes, this build isn't invulnerable, you are going to take some damage, especially from the harder hitting enemies, but you really don't have to panic with it, because even if you do lose some health, as long as you keep attacking, you're going to lose very little. And again, your Glutton for Punishment will also kick in if it gets too much and help out, which, to be quite honest with this build, we very, very rarely lose any. So that is my little solo assassin build. As I say, first time I've ever really done one of these. Normally I always go with follower builds, so this is something completely different for me, to be bringing you guys an assassin type build. You could potentially do this in heavy armour, if you could find a heavy armour, which would be better, but to be quite honest, you'd need to use a lot of the armour reduction kits to make it weigh a lot less. And with this setup, the medium armour is perfectly fine. Just going to be that bit of a grind, as I say, to do the dungeon delver, but once you complete that and you unlock this hidden set, if you want the most armour value on it, do it with the shield right and your bladesmith for your weapon on your bench, and you are pretty much golden. So I hope you like this build, guys. I hope you find it interesting. Give me a thumbs up if you do. Let's try and get 50 likes on this video. Questions and comments down below, and that is about it from me. So I'll leave you with some gameplay now of some different attacks here in Sephiroth and also up at New Azagoth, just so you can see how this build goes and it works. Try it out for yourself, let me know what you think, and until the next one, guys, happy fighting.